All right, good evening to you. We are breaking into programming here to inform you of confirmed tornado. We have a tornado on the ground right now in parts of Cass County. We want to take you here to our storm tracker Doppler, and here's what we're going to look at. There's the storm right there of concern. Petersburg. If you're in Petersburg, that is in Menard County. You want to take shelter immediately. Let's go right down in on where that storm is, where that tornado is, and there it is. It is south and west of the Newmansville area, south of Panther Creek. We have confirmation of a tornado that has done damage. This is what is known as our correlation coefficient. It's our debris tracker. It allows us to see if a tornado has formed and has caused damage, and it has. I'm going to back this up just a few minutes ago. Okay, do you see that area there? We're going to look towards the Virginia area there, and that is going to be into Cass County, and watch what happens. You're going to see that bright blue start to pop up there as it crosses Highway 78, right on 78. So most likely what could have happened is this crossed 78 there. That could have picked up vehicles. We don't know that for sure, but there's damage right as it crossed the highway there. And then it went over there to the east side of Virginia, the growing area there of debris. All of that right there is the debris being lofted into the air. It's the radar that is picking up lofted debris. Now, that was a few minutes ago. That was at 7:53, so that was 8 minutes ago. Now, that same debris is still being lofted and is headed towards the Newmansville area here right now. That lines up exactly with the velocity couplet that we've got, where we've got a tornado on the ground right on the Cass in Menard County line. There is a tornado. This is not just radar indicated. This is a confirmed tornado. So let's kind of look at the path of where this is going, because down the line you're looking at portions of Logan County. There's Lincoln, the Weather Service office there in Lincoln. So this thing is going to continue to move off here to the north and east. So we have to watch this carefully, because eventually where's this going to go? Portions of Logan County being hit by this, and down the line possibly McLean County. You know, could it clip portions of DeWitt County there as well? This is the highest level of concern that we can have. Confirmed tornado that we have with our storm that's coming right on the Cass and Menard County line. And we can see that when we look at our velocity here that shows us the winds that are spinning, and then with what's called our correlation coefficient that shows the debris that has been lofted into the air. And we have a confirmed tornado with this that is going to be crossing just to the north and west of Petersburg, it looks like right now. So there's Petersburg. That thing is going to come awfully close to you. You need to be in your tornado safe spots. Let's go through those here with you. We've got your kind of worst spot all the way to your best spot. The worst spot is going to be obviously in a car. Mobile homes, bad place to be, okay? If you've got time, get out of those. Under a highway and overpass, you don't want to go there. If you're driving, definitely do not go there. The winds can intensify and get funneled underneath there. Don't do that. Another bad location, you know, large open rooms or manufactured housing, okay? Best thing, let's go to the great level here first. It's going to be the interior room or basement of a well-built building. Center part of your house, lowest level of your house, that's best. Tornado shelter and safe room as well, okay? That, you know, by far the best thing. We know there's a little bit more rare, but that's kind of what you're looking at here in terms of, you know, where to go in case of a tornado. Let's look at this here again. We've got our two different products here pulled up. Here's your reflectivity. It's on the left, and let's back it out so you can kind of get, we're zoomed way down in there. So there's Petersburg. That's right here, okay? And that storm, actually, we may even have, I'm starting to see a couple different circulations. We're going to have to watch this here. So there potentially could be a circulation right here, and then a second circulation right here. Let's see what we've got. Yeah, that is kind of showing up. So we've got possibly a couple different tornadoes that could be in there. But the concern is with this velocity and this, what we call tornado debris signature, this drop, this color that dips down to the blue. Essentially, the radar is saying, hey, I'm hitting an object that's not uniform. It's not a raindrop, okay? This is something else. This potentially, you know, 2x4s or shingles. You know, that's debris that is getting lofted up into the air. So you need to take this seriously. This is going to pass just north of Petersburg. It's right on the Cass and Menard County line right now. So that's Petersburg right here. This is a confirmed tornado. This is going to continue to the north and to the east. Now we're hoping, that's going to come really close into the western part of Logan County. So here's Emden, here's the Hartsburg area, over here's Lincoln. So we're going to have to watch that carefully. But this is confirmation. When you get what we call a TDS signature, that tornado debris signature, it is a high level of confidence as a meteorologist that we know there has been a tornado that has done damage and potentially is still doing damage. We can see that when we look at the velocity here. We've still got a little bit of what we call a little bit of a couplet that is co-located with where that debris is located here as well. And that is moving to the north and east. So that's I'm going to put a little bit of a loop on this for you now so you can get kind of an idea. I'm just going to switch it back over just to the one reflectivity panel and then widen it out, because I know we've got a lot of people watching us in other parts of the area that are going, okay, what about in my location here? Well, here's Champaign. You've got Decatur here. Here's Springfield. We're going to start watching you guys here carefully. But right now, this is definitely the storm of concern. Looks like they just issued a new warning just outside of our area. That's going to be up into Mason County. That one's going to be heading up there to the north and east. But we're watching these other storms that are coming out of the St. Louis area here as well. So St. Louis, there's a confirmed, I believe that is still a confirmed tornado that they've got down there. I'm just going to go to that here real quick, because I know that there's a lot of you that have friends or family that are down in the St. Louis area here tonight. They just had a tornado that passed very close to the Weather Service office there. And it does look like that there is still a tornado warning in effect there in the St. Louis area on the west side, northwest side, St. Charles to Maryland Heights. So that is an area of concern for them down there. Now, you may be saying, okay, that's down in St. Louis. What about here? Well, those storms, if you just watch them, the movement of these are also going to be moving here to the north and east. So down the line, Macoupin, Montgomery. It looks like they just extended that. So a new warning that just got extended for that line there, Macoupin County now under that. And if you just continued this out, Montgomery, Shelby, maybe portions of Christian County, if this would hold together and continue on its same path, we would be dealing with this down the line in the rest of our counties here in central Illinois. So there's your wide picture of things. Champaign, I-57 here. Here's I-55 right now. We're going to watch a few different areas right now. The strongest storm is going to be this southern one coming into St. Louis right now, and then we're watching this one that has been pushing through the Cass, Menard, and the Cass and Menard area there near Petersburg. We got to switch back over to the Lincoln radar because we're now a good distance away, because we were looking at the St. Louis one. So let me click back over. All right, you can see here are the warnings. There are the warnings. So the boxes here, these are all the warnings that we've got. So essentially there's three little line segments that are producing tornado warnings. The one down here towards St. Louis. There's still a pretty intense line here that we're going to have to watch. That's going to be coming into the western, southwestern portions of Sangamon County. Currently, we don't have any warnings with it. Looks like some strong winds, though. And then here's our storm that we have been concerned about this whole time. It's had this debris. Look at that. There's still debris being lofted just to the north and west of Petersburg right now. Confirmed tornado with this. Let's see what we're catching from the Weather Service here. We are still seeing definite rotation with this. They're getting some very strong winds with this as well. So it is still a very serious situation out here. This new tornado warning for Mason and Tazewell counties is in effect for that northern storm we were just kind of talking about. And this is new one that is up here, okay? So that's going to be north of our area. Not necessarily in our viewing area, but we're going to watch our storm here, see if it could clip portions of Logan County, and then the ones that are coming out of the St. Louis area here as well. So a busy night here. We're just kind of getting going. These storms are moving very, very fast. Some of them at 50 to 60 miles per hour. These things are really moving. So just think about, driving down the highway at that rate of speed, and you kind of get the idea. So here's what we'll do. Since we know the current speed and the movement of these, moving here at some 60 miles an hour, that's the We'll put it at about 57. It's between 55 and 60 miles an hour. Now, we just did that one storm there, and if it stood on that kind of similar path, it could be towards Lincoln at 8:33. If it stayed together, Clinton at 9 o'clock, this could be on top of you in 50 minutes there into DeWitt County, the Wapella area as well. So this kind of shows you how quick these storms are eventually going to be moving down the line and then pushing through parts of our viewing area here tonight. So tornado warning still in effect for portions of Cass and, well, actually, they just dropped Cass, so it's just Menard County now. We've got Macoupin County also with the tornado warnings out there as well. So that's kind of the wide view of things, and it's really crucial over the next about, I would say, 3 hours or so, 3 to 4 hours, we're going to have the potential for severe weather to move through anywhere, because there is a tornado watch that is now in effect until 2 a.m. This is new, that just came out, a tornado watch until 2 a.m. for the entire viewing area tonight. So that means that you have that potential for tornadoes anywhere if you're watching us here tonight in portions of central Illinois. So we've got a few hours here. I think the real kind of crucial time is going to be between now and, say, midnight. But that watch does go until 2 o'clock here in the morning. We're going to be checking in. We've got Storm Tracker and meteorologist Jacob Dickey that's out there. Meteorologist Jack Gerfen is going to be joining us soon here as well. You can see, let's take our Springfield, there we go. We've got Jacob there, that's on the left side of your screen in the Storm Tracker. We'll check in with him here in a little bit. And we've been watching our Springfield camera. We were talking about how those storms were starting to come through Springfield, and we were getting a few flashes of lightning that are showing up every now and again with that as well. And right now, nothing is severe in Sangamon County. No severe storms there, but definitely you're getting some heavy rainfall. You're seeing some of that lightning showing up at the present moment. But we're going to have to watch that stuff that's still coming out of Missouri and see if it still kind of holds together. You can see our tower cam bouncing around a little bit. You may have some 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts as that little line kind of moves through. But so far, no warnings there. But that's going to be kind of our first camera to kind of see things. We'll look down the line eventually towards Decatur. And I think this thing's going to kind of hug along I-72, between I-72 and I-70 here as we go throughout tonight. And we're going to be following it right along and see how these storms eventually kind of transpire here as we go throughout to the rest of tonight. They are getting reports of damage back in the St. Charles area as those storms move through a little bit earlier. And so these storms, they are the real deal. They're the ones that are actually doing damage out there tonight that have tornadoes associated with them. Here's another little bit of a, we're going to go back to the radar here and kind of show you the loop of this. So we're getting a little bit more of a line that's starting to come together. It's a little bit more segmented earlier. So now we're getting this line out of Missouri and now pushing towards I-55. Verdon, Springfield here. Now, the stuff we were looking at there in Springfield, you can see that wasn't too intense, but see the brighter reds back here? That stuff's looking a little stronger. So we'll have to watch out Chatham, eventually, you know, into Christian County. I know a lot of people that live in the Taylorville area on edge tonight, knowing that it's December, and we're talking tornadoes. Of course, the Taylorville tornado 3 years ago on December the 1st. The EF3 tornado there. So I know people are watching carefully down that way tonight, and pretty much everybody under the gun here. Now we got to watch this other cell that's up here with the new warning, because that may eventually come into McLean County. You can see there's Bloomington up here. There's Atlanta and the Hayworth area. We'll have to watch all of that as that moves in. So the big question is, are these storms going to hold together? There's a lot of energy. There's a lot of wind energy in the atmosphere for these storms to kind of tap into and work off of. So that wind energy is what is allowing for these storms to kind of spin a little bit. Do we have Jacob on the line, or do we just have his shot? All right, so Jacob's out there in the Storm Tracker with us here tonight. There he is. And Jacob, you are, I believe, traveling there. Are you on 72 and heading west, or what's your location and what are you seeing?
Hey, Kevin, we're heading towards Springfield, but we wanted to divert to the north and west to go towards that storm that's near Petersburg. I think you've probably seen it and talked about it. The debris signature in that storm has been very concerning and very consistent since south of Virginia. Across there, as it's now looks like it's moving off towards the north and east. That's going to be very close now to the north and west side of Petersburg. That will be north of Lake Petersburg, but north and west side of Petersburg off towards south and east Mason City. I've got some concerns about that particular area, as I think what may happen is that thermal gradient, that moist air as it lifts to the north, may allow that to sustain itself into Logan, McLean County. And so there's some concerns there. I'm going to opt to go north, but I've got a good south option if I need to catch those storms as well down by Taylorville. We're going to watch them all, though, and keep you updated here. We're on, looks like 121 coming into Warrensburg here in just a little bit. We'll be making our way to Mount Pulaski and watching things as they approach Lincoln. The other thing, Kevin, as you mentioned, that storm that approached the National Weather Service off Springfield, this next storm may approach the National Weather Service office in St. Louis, I should say. This next storm looks like it's heading towards the National Weather Service office in Lincoln. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens as this confirmed tornado now in Menard County moves off to the north and east, Kevin. We're going to keep heading to the north and west. We'll have another update for you probably about 15 minutes or so. Kevin?
All right, sounds good. So Jacob's out there in the storm tracker, and there it is. Again, there's that storm north of Petersburg that's still showing the lofted debris. The debris that is there, a tornado did that, okay? That's the only explanation. That's the great thing with the new updates they did to the radar several years ago. They added this in. It allows us, we know for sure when we see this signature, a tornado has occurred, okay? And possibly is still going on because that debris, if we just back this up, watch that. You can watch it for yourself. Watch it all the way back there towards Virginia. Okay, so there it was. There was nothing there, and then boom, just south of Virginia, boom. And it's still got debris lofted, almost kind of spreading out a little bit, but potentially still debris lofted out there and going to be passing, just crossed over 97, going to be passing 29. And then if it would stay on its track, let's just kind of pull this out and extrapolate this out. Okay, if it's down there, it would possibly pass kind of northwest of Lincoln and northwest of the Weather Service office, which would be good, but if that thing went into McLean County, you're talking Atlanta, you're talking, Hayworth, Bloomington, that area down the line. So that's kind of big picture. But let's do this for you, too. Let's just track it and see where that potentially could head. And I'm going to get the movement on this here. The latest movement with that storm is at 55 miles per hour now. I think we're getting ready to get a new scan on this as well, because these are moving so fast. We wait for the next radar scan to come up, and I have a feeling that this debris that we were talking about is still going to be lofted, which means the tornado is still occurring. And when this thing comes towards the Greenview area and Highway 29, and then there's Mason City up here, we got to be watching that carefully too, because that storm is going to come awfully close there up towards Mason City. So tornado warning here in effect, confirmed. And I'm going to plot this out because I know we're getting ready to get a new radar scan here in just a moment. And I'm going to actually do it from just west of Greenview, because that's kind of where we're seeing things. And I didn't go wide enough here, so ignore that. We're going to bring this back out. We got to widen the view out because these things are moving so fast. So let's try that one more time. And we're going to plot this out, just kind of give you an idea of when this storm could reach, say, north and west of the Lincoln area. And there's Atlanta at 8:53. You're talking a little over half an hour from now. There's the Funks Grove area, and if it stayed on its path and eventually gets to I-74, you're talking Downs in an hour. Fast-moving storm. It has a tornado obviously associated with it because it's still lofting that debris into the air. We still have debris that is being lofted with this confirmed tornado. Is going to be coming into Logan County here before too long as well. And there it is. That is the storm of concern that we've got right now. Let's switch it back over to our reflectivity. And when you look at this on radar, you may not, say, oh, it doesn't look that, bad. Okay, there's some red in there, but it's when you look at these other parameters, the velocity, our correlation coefficient, they tell us the story that there's still rotation that's showing up here with this. And we've got that tornado with that debris that's lofted. Okay, let's back it out I want to show you kind of that big picture again, because we've got that storm in St. Louis. That's still of concern. And that's going to be crossing over the Mississippi as we speak. Looks like kind of hit there on the north side of St. Louis and possibly up there by the airport. And that's going to be coming into Macoupin and Montgomery counties, eventually down the line Christian and Shelby County. So you guys want to be paying attention here over the next few hours as our storms come in. I think Jacob is back here with us. Jacob, what do you got?
Hey, Kevin, I just wanted to let you know that we're starting to see some lightning from these storms here. We've passed through Warrensburg. We're approaching Latham now. Mount Pulaski will be about 10 minutes from now. This storm I wanted to mention, you talked about correlation coefficient telling this story, a way we can look at debris. If you can, I'd like you to bring that full screen and see if you're seeing the same thing I am. Not only are we still seeing a consistent debris signature with that, but it appears that to the north, there's some debris fallout from that. I was trying to look at that and identify, and it looks like that may be the case. That could be a fairly sizable tornado if it continues here. While you're doing that, I also keep the shot straight ahead here. It's also been rainy and foggy and windy out of front here. Some of those higher end severe weather days, a lot of times you've got surface winds that are fairly strong here, and that's just adding to the wind shear tonight. And so I think that's something that we've noted. Yes, some of the rain has been deceiving today. I heard it in Gibson City. Well, it's rainy, it's cloudy. That's not going to be the case. The other thing is we're not getting the instability from the sun per se. We're pulling that in with that strong south wind here. More of a dynamic system than a traditional instability system. So starting to see some more lightning here. I just crossed the Logan County line. The wind has been pretty blustery. Coming west in 72, that wind was pushing and pulling on me a bit on the roadway. It's doing the same here on 121 as I go around Latham. From Mount Pulaski then, Kevin, as well, I'd like some advice from you on what direction to head. There's a pretty good flash right there to help kind of guide me in that right direction. We're doing the best we can out here to keep an eye on it. But I wanted to point that out and see if you're seeing the same sort of debris fallout from that storm that's near Petersburg.
Yeah, you know, there is. We're kind of seeing that there. It's kind of falling even more to the north. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that's happening. You could have debris falling towards the Mason City area there with these strong winds. Okay, you've got these strong winds. So what we're looking at here essentially is this correlation coefficient that allows us to see debris. And when it gets a little bit more kind of broader and kind of scatters out a little bit, which is what we're kind of seeing, you're getting maybe some of that debris, which means we could have had a fairly significant tornado that did quite a bit of damage there in DeKalb and Menard counties there north of the Petersburg area. So there's still that tornado warning associated with this storm. There it is. But I want to make mention of this because we just got a new severe thunderstorm warning that has just been issued for portions of Sangamon and Christian counties. This includes Auburn. This includes the Edinburgh area. This includes Mount Auburn and Mechanicsburg, okay? And so that is a severe thunderstorm warning. It's for this little line segment you see right here, the one that we were watching on our Springfield camera here just a second. As a matter of fact, if we can, we'll pull up the Springfield camera, and you can see the rain is still really coming down there in Springfield. Now that storm, they're actually not under the warning in Springfield. It's kind of right, you're right on the edge. I guess maybe the southeastern part of town, the Southern View area, Rochester. You guys have that severe thunderstorm where you're right on the edge of it, but it is mainly for just to your south. You can see the lightning flashes there. Pretty good storm that is on the southeast side of Springfield to the Chatham area. That's Highway 4, running down towards the Glenarm area. That is going to be the area of concern for possibly some really strong winds. You could have some 60-mile-an-hour winds with that, but what we have to watch, any of these storms may start to spin a little bit. And if that occurs, that severe thunderstorm warning could change to a tornado warning really quick. It doesn't take long. These things can really start to take shape here. And you can see, again, those flashes of lightning that are occurring. I'm going to switch on the lightning here real quick. We'll take off the little box here, but you can see there's quite a bit of lightning, and it's often an indicator of how strong a storm is, you know, how much lightning do we've got. And there's quite a bit there between Chatham and Auburn along Highway 4. And that is an indication that storm is maturing and is definitely going to be one that we're going to have to watch here. There's Christian County, and we mentioned Taylorville earlier. Be on the lookout here. Be on guard in case we start seeing any rotation within this. If we do, obviously we would have to change this over. That's not the case here right now, but we are still watching this storm carefully. And that is going to be moving off to the north and east. Let's see the movement of that. That's going to be at 60 miles an hour. So again, these things are moving at, you know, at state highway speeds at 60 miles per hour. So these things are really moving along. So let's take off our lightning off of here. And if this thing would stay on its path, we'll draw a line right along this. We'll take you to the north and to the east. And we're going to put you at 60. This thing is going to be knocking on the door to places like Pawnee in the next 6 minutes. The Kincaid area here in the next 17 minutes or so, 18 minutes. Booty, there's Decatur at 9:04, the airport at 9:10, and Cerro Gordo at 9:17. And a lot can happen in this short amount of time between now and then. Right now, the big threat, damaging straight line winds, but we're going to watch and see if there's any little notches or any little bit of rotation that could develop. So let's switch over to that. So we're not seeing that here, not just yet. You know, we're going to carefully watch this here, see if any of those reds start to show up, but we're not seeing kind of the same indications that we were with some of those other storms. Don't get me wrong, there's some strong winds in there, and these storms are moving into an atmosphere that could easily start to produce some spin with them and turn that severe thunderstorm warning into a tornado warning. But right now we're not seeing that, but you still need to just kind of be watching things carefully. Severe thunderstorm warning, Christian in Sangamon County. Man, that lightning really ramping up there in Springfield here right now with that storm that's right there on top of us. That's we'll go ahead and, if we can, we'll go back to the Springfield camera because I can barely see the Capitol now. If we can go back, I mean, so there's the Capitol that's off in the distance. And the view of that being obscured by the extremely heavy rainfall and the flashes of lightning that we've got out there with that thing is really coming down. Again, if you're in Springfield itself, you're on the edge of that severe thunderstorm warning, but we often say if you're in or around and close to the watch area or the warning area, you could be impacted by this. And you're really close there. You can see the camera that is really bouncing around. And you can see that the heavy rainfall. Normally you'd see the Capitol building. You can see the red light on top of the dome there. That's about it. You can't make out the rest of the Capitol there in Springfield as that heavy rainfall continues to move through. As our storms are kind of strengthening here, they're kind of getting a little bit more broken up into some segments, which is something we're going to have to watch carefully because if these things start kind of getting out on their own and kind of broken off from the main segment line, then you could start getting some more supercellular characteristics to them. So several counties here with warnings right now on the Storm Tracker Doppler. Let's just kind of outline them for you. We're watching the storm coming out of St. Louis that had a confirmed tornado with it earlier. We're watching this little line segment that's from Springfield back down to Chatham and Auburn, heading towards Mechanicsburg, the Edinburgh area, Stonington, and eventually Macon County. And then we're watching our cell that's been up here that's had a confirmed tornado that's up here near the Mason City area that has had debris being lofted for quite some time. And so we've had up here towards the New Holland area still lofted debris signatures that are showing up with this. Debris that may be kind of far off from maybe where the tornado is. This is just incredible. So we may have had a fairly long track tornado that possibly moved through portions of Cass and Menard counties here tonight from about Virginia and to north of the Petersburg area, and even potentially still ongoing as it moves into northwestern portions of Logan County now, which we have, I believe, a new tornado warning for Logan, Mason, and Tazewell County. The northwestern, there it is, we just mentioned. So we were talking how the Weather Service has the Doppler radar. I just want to kind of show it to you. So there's the Doppler in Lincoln on the east side of town there. along Highway 10. That warning is just north and west of the Lincoln Weather Service office, which is good news, which means hopefully, we shouldn't have an issue there like they had in St. Louis, where a tornado passed probably within half a mile to a mile of the Weather Service office in St. Louis earlier. Had a scare down there. But for us, right now, where the rotation is with this storm, it is going to be in past northwest of Lincoln, but you're talking the New Holland areas, and then up here, eventually, this thing may come into McLean County, so we're going to have to watch that. There's Mount Joy, as that lifts off here to the north and to the east tonight. So, right now is the crucial time over the next, like I said, couple of hours. We got to see what these storms are going to do. Are they going to continue to kind of hold on to their kind of intensity that we've had so far? So many of these storms that have come out of St. Louis have had tornado warnings with them. Still a very large tornado warning box here coming out of St. Louis. This was confirmed earlier, but these are the ones that you've got to worry about down the line in places like Shelbyville, maybe down towards Charleston and Effingham later. The storm that is in St. Louis, because these have all been kind of lifting here to the north and east, so it's right through here. I know you're saying, hey, Champaign, nothing's going on. Decatur, there's not really much going on here yet. But we still got this storm here, the one here that currently is severe thunderstorm warned into Sangamon and Christian County. And then we're watching the storm coming out into Logan County and eventually into McLean County there. And all of those storms could produce tornadoes because of the environment that we are currently in. I just want to show you this real quick. If you go back to the Springfield camera, we can see the Capitol again. So the storm has passed by there, which once was, it's still some really good lightning, but at least we can make out the Capitol there. We couldn't do that here just a few minutes ago with the storms that are coming in. Jack Gerfen is here with us here, and Jack just joined us here in this. We are on air. Yep.
Okay. So make sure my microphone isn't going to go.
Yeah. Good. Jack, tell us, you're just kind of rolling in. What's it feel like outside?
Well, I was just going to say, it's kind of going to be pretty important that I did just come on in because of the fact that my car temperature thermometer was showing 63 degrees. And when I left work at 5 o'clock, just to go get a little bit of a break, it was in the upper 50s. So we're still warming up here. If we could maybe put on max 1 here really fast, you'll notice that we've got temperatures that are very mild right now in the low to middle 60s. And that means that these storms have a very warm, very moist environment to work with. And also the winds. The winds have actually picked up within the past, I'd say about half hour or so. It really wasn't that windy earlier on. But right now, the Springfield Airport reporting a 58-mile-per-hour wind gust on their map right there. So Champaign coming in close to 40 miles an hour. The winds have picked up. And we really need to watch out for that critical south and southeast direction of the winds. If we can get the winds to turn more out of the southeast, that would give the atmosphere just a little bit more in the way of some rotation to work with. Now, that being said, we have strong winds aloft, and they're coming from a different direction, too. So the shear is really not a problem in the upper atmosphere, but for us to get the rotation for tornadoes, if it's more out of the southeast, that would be a big thing to watch out for. So, but like we've been saying in the days leading up to this, and then Kevin, with your coverage so far tonight, the wind shear is not a problem with these storms. There's a lot to work with, but just want to point out the fact that we have a very favorable environment for these storms to be coming through. Even though it's 8:30 on a December 10th night, the atmosphere is going to be good to go with a lot of these. We do have another confirmed tornado report now just south of our viewing area. So that's going to be for Bond and Madison counties there. That will go until 9:15. So we're looking at, and that one actually has a considerable threat with that one. So Kevin, that one is that's a big storm right over the Edwardsville area. That's technically just south of our viewing area. That's in the Metro East area of the St. Louis. And, we're just going to keep on watching those storms coming out of there. But we still have our storms in our central Illinois viewing area that we are watching out for. We have a severe thunderstorm warning for Logan and Sangamon, Christian and Sangamon. Both of those go until 9 o'clock. They have winds mainly warned for 60 miles per hour. The hail is not very large with those, but tornado possible in those. Just because, again, we have the fact that our rotation is still present in a few of these that we'll have to keep an eye out for. Looking at some of our velocity currently, and you'll see that got some very strong winds thanks to the bright colors that you can see there. But even within these little lines, you can get a little bit of a notch here and there, and that would be enough to potentially produce a brief little spin-up tornado. We have a bit more in the way of actual observed rotation for our tornado warnings. And again, we have that one for Logan, Mason, and Tazewell counties. So some of those on the far northwestern edge of our viewing area, that goes until 9 o'clock. And another one for the Hopedale area there. Again, that's kind of for more of Tazewell County at that point. So these are kind of skirting just along the northwestern edge of our viewing area. We've got some strong winds associated with all of these, but really we're going to be watching the storms that have the severe thunderstorm warnings with them right now, because those are the ones that potentially down the line, especially with the one for Logan and Sangamon counties, the northern warning there, that's the one that could have a little bit more in the way of a rotation with it, and that's why there's that tornado possible tag. We've always been kind of looking out for more of a tornado risk out of today, just because of the shear that we've had to play with. The Storm Prediction Center over the course of today moved us up from a slight risk to an enhanced risk. So throughout the day today, we've seen, based on how all of our models were handling all of the conditions that were going to show up, we kind of saw that the threat for severe weather increased throughout the night, and that's where we find ourselves right now.
All right, Jack, that storm that you were talking about there, that was south of, or I should say east of the St. Louis area. And I'm gonna switch back over here to my Max 2. There is an evident debris signature. It's another one of those tornado debris signatures. That's Edwardsville. Okay, so there's St. Louis. Right there is Edwardsville. That's a tornado debris signature. That we see those blue colors kind of pop up like that. So there is.
That's a populated area too.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And you can see right there, if that thing goes through Edwardsville, that is a very populated. Here, I can show you that when we take it. Look at that. Look at all of the you know, populated areas there, the buildings, the businesses, the homes, and that debris signature could get a lot bigger here on the next scan. That's we'll see with this area here. This might get a lot bigger here as that storm just passed over the Edwardsville area. And so I understand, okay, what about what's down the line here? So that thing's going to pass probably just north of I-70. There's Greenville in Bond County. There's Vandalia. Looks like they just repopped another confirmed tour with all of these little cells here. But so we've got to watch everything down the line here. Shelbyville. You know, there's Effingham. So basically you just kind of draw a circle, you know, and kind of run this all the way down. These storms are going to hug right along I-70, and that's going to be a major concern between I-72 and I-70 here over the next few hours is what these storms potentially could do, because we put, you know, a loop on that. You can see the direction they're going. Eventually going to come into Montgomery and Christian and Shelby and Fayette counties here with confirmed tornadoes. You know, you can easily see that with the radar signature that's there. We're waiting for that new update to come through, because I'll be real curious to see what we've got in terms of that storm there, if it's still packing a punch. But we are obviously still watching our storms that are here southeast of Springfield, Rochester to Pawnee, where we've got severe thunderstorm warnings. And like you said, Jack, it's pretty warm out there. And at any time, these severe thunderstorm warnings, because of the atmosphere that these are in, could switch over to tornado warnings. Yeah,
and that's really what I wanted to kind of highlight here, is because of the fact that when we had our severe threat a few weeks ago, we were watching these storms to be along a warm front. And when that warm front was moving through our area, it provided a boundary for the storms to form along. And then once those storms went north of that warm front, then it was too cold, and then we lost that severe threat with them. We do not have that problem with this go around. The warm front is far enough to our north now to where we are all very, very warm, where the coldest spot is Watseka's 57. We have 63s in Taylorville and Effingham, 64 in Springfield. So because of how warm it is, we do not have to worry about so much about instability. We have a lot of instability that we can work with here. And also, again, very strong winds that we have in our viewing area too, with our winds coming in out of the south and mainly south direction here. They may have a little bit of a tilt here or there from the south-southeast or the south-southwest, but still though, we have enough in the way of wind at the ground, which will translate to wind higher up in the atmosphere, and that's going to give us our chance for some of that spin that we would then need to have. Again, some strong winds being reported, and with Springfield, as those storms are going through the area there's a 58-mile-per-hour wind gust that was just noted at the airport. So it's a little bit of a different setup here, and again, because the fact that it's at night, we're a little bit more concerned about it. When we get our tornado warnings, it's sometimes hard to get that confirmed tornado report because of the fact that it is dark outside, but a number of these storms have produced confirmed tornadoes, and so when we're talking about it at night, that gives us you know, a little bit more something to worry about with it, and also the fact too that we are talking about it being December 10th, so this is late season, and usually when we have these conditions late in the season, we usually have the chance for some damage that can occur. And it sounds like, especially in Cass County, we had, Kevin, like you said earlier on, some pretty good returns on our correlation coefficient, which would be the debris tracker. You definitely saw some debris lofted in the atmosphere with that one.
Okay, we got a new tornado warning. New tornado warning just getting issued here. This is northern McLean County now. Let's see here. Tornado warning in effect for McLean and Woodford County. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado near Carlock, 7 miles southeast of Eureka, moving northeast at 35 miles an hour. That's slowed down quite a bit.
Yeah, because some of these were
70.
Screaming, yeah.
Screaming. So this is northern McLean County. So that's on that northern edge, you know, there. So that's north of Bloomington. Okay, so we're watching that. The one that we had earlier into Cass, Menard, Logan County, there's Logan County there, the tornado warning, still a very strong cell there. Going to be also heading, that's the one that could hit central portions of McLean County. But right now, you've got far northern, you've got El Paso, okay, up in that area of concern. Let's switch over to the velocity on this, and you can see we've got a little bit of rotation right there. And that's where there could be a tornado. Let's kind of back it out here, see what we've got with our other storm. They're coming in to the Orville area in Atlanta, not seeing a whole lot there. Strong winds with these other cells that we're watching that are through Mount Pulaski, Logan County. There is the tornado possible tag associated with this. So Mount Pulaski down to Mechanicsburg. And we're going to have to start watching some of these areas here, as you know, keeping a close eye on those where there may start to be a little bit of rotation on some of these. We did get a report as those storms came through up in Tazewell County. They had some 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts with that.
That does not surprise me.
So some strong winds.
Yes.
And as we work our way a little bit further to the south, still dealing with the severe weather threat that is ongoing out of the St. Louis area, and major concern is showing up down here. We talked about our correlation coefficient. Let me switch over. I'm going to switch over to our other radar here to show you that debris signature with our storm that passed through the Edwardsville area. It looks like we lost it a little bit there.
But you can tell how fast it's moving, though.
Yeah.
That's one of the fast-moving storms down there.
Fast-moving storm. Yeah, these southern storms seem to be moving at a faster clip than some of the other ones. So that thing's going to pass there north of Greenville, but we've got to watch there down the line here. Eventually, there's Christian and Shelby counties with this. And, you know, we'll see just how, because of how quickly these storms are moving, they are going to be here before you know it. And that's the thing is, you can't let your guard down and think, oh, we've got some time. They're still all the way out there. They're going to be here real soon. And, you know, as a matter of fact, I think I'm probably going to be able to pull up our Decatur camera here, and it's going to be able to start to show the lightning that is going to be showing up from our storms that are still well off in the distance. That's the Springfield camera here. I'm going to try to switch over to the Decatur camera. Well, we're still getting lightning there on the Springfield camera. Yeah, we're going to watch all of these here to give us that good view. And I think I had that. Oh, I think, there we go. We can switch over now to the Decatur camera. So there's downtown Decatur. Right now, you are not under a warning, but there's warnings just out to your west, out there from Mount Auburn, Illiopolis, under a severe thunderstorm warning. So we're going to have to watch your area there because, again, these storms moving into that atmosphere that may be a little bit better for some spin within them, and additional tornado warnings could get issued. Right now, strong storm that stretches between, just north of the Edinburgh area, Mount Auburn, just passed through the Mechanicsburg area there as well, and Illiopolis is, if we have Jacob with us, he should be getting close to probably approaching some of these lines of storms out there. Once we get him on the line, we'll check in with him. Okay, so Jacob, what's your location? Where you at? What you got?
Hey, Kevin, I ended up backtracking a little bit more to the south and east. I'm in Warrensburg now. I kind of held off on going to the north and west here because I want to watch Decatur and then eventually towards Champaign-Urbana. The lightning, you're right, has been picking up, and we've been watching some of the wind as well. Some of those wind gusts out there are easily 30 to 40 miles an hour across the road, so the car rocking quite a bit. As we look now, we're looking off to the north and to the west up Highway 121. Off in the distance, then it'll be Mount Pulaski and eventually that storm there. The problem I'm seeing is there's a lot of rain ahead of these severe storms too, and so trying to get a view and trying to stay ahead of them is really going to be tricky from this point out. So we're going to play things very conservatively and very safely out here, but try and stay ahead of it here. And we'll probably backtrack to Decatur pending these storms here and watch Interstate 72. That's a pretty safe corridor for me to have an escape path on, because you're right, these storms are moving at a quick clip too. So we're going to keep watching, kind of sit here. If you guys see something or have a recommendation, I'd appreciate some guidance too as we're watching these storms move on through. So far, no damage where I'm at, but the storms are still off to the west, and so we're going to keep watching them and keep you updated here. Live in the Storm Tracker, meteorologist Jacob Dickey. We're in northwestern Macon County. Back to you.
All right, so he's going to be there in northwestern Macon County, Warrensburg, watching that line start to come in. Just got a report of a 60-mile-an-hour gust that occurred at the Springfield Airport. They had a 60-mile-an-hour wind that occurred as the storms rolled through there, and we've got a new tornado warning that has just been issued here as well. Jack, what's that new warning down there?
Yes, that one's going to be for a confirmed tornado report. In fact, let me just go to that graphic there. We'll kind of go through here. First off, to the north, we have our northern tornado warning for McLean County that goes until 9:15. That remains a radar indicated one. We also have our Logan, Tazewell County one, and also severe thunderstorm warning for Logan and Sangamon counties. Those both go until 9 o'clock this evening, and these storms are moving off to our east and northeast direction. We then have our tornado possible severe thunderstorm warning for Logan and Sangamon counties. And as we go back down, we've got the Christian Sangamon County line there also having that with the severe thunderstorm warning too. These are all for 60-mile-per-hour winds with the severe thunderstorm warnings. But then our new tornado warning that we just got, and it's again that pink purple box, which means that we have that as a confirmed tornado, is going to be in our viewing area for Macoupin and Montgomery counties until 9:30. So taking a look at the velocity, and this is the velocity that is out of the St. Louis radar, you could definitely tell that we have that velocity couplet right there. We have a lot of intersecting tornado warnings because the National Weather Service is trying to get a handle on that, but we've got this northern box right there is the one that does go into portions of Macoupin and Montgomery counties for us. So we're going to keep an eye on things here with that one. That's the one that's moving off to the northeast. That's going to be, again, north of I-70, just so that you can see it right there. So that would be taking it more into a bit more of our viewing area if that can hold together. But that one is the one that we're currently watching. That one just popped up, so I wasn't able to see how fast that one's moving, and I'll put a track on it here in just a moment. But that velocity couplet looks very good on the radar, which is the reason why that is a confirmed tornado. 55, moving at 55. So it's, like we said, it's faster down in the southern storms than they are with the northern ones, at least kind of as of right now. But again, it is moving into an environment that is very favorable. The whole environment is very favorable. But this one right there, this one will track, again, this is very southern fringe of our viewing area, but that's the one that we're going to watch out for, as that one will be moving off to the northeast at 55 miles an hour. And so we'll put a track on it here in just a moment and let you know more about that one. But yeah, Kevin, I don't know, with the report out of that one being a confirmed one, is there any damage with that one that you've seen?
Let's see here. Let's take a look and see if there is confirmation. A lot of times what's happened is we've had tornado debris signatures with them. So what we can do is I'm going to go ahead and pull up what's called our correlation coefficient, the TDS here on this, and we'll take a look at our storms that are down here. We'll switch this over. Not seeing a whole lot there, but they might... let's see here, tornado producing storm. So there could have been a spotter. The source was radar confirmed tornado. So there must have been a TDS maybe a little bit earlier on that.
And that one was, you know, it's close to the St. Louis radar, so it's going to have they're going to have a great picture of it. It's not like it's far away from the radar. I wonder if they put the two warning boxes like that just to kind of watch out for where the Edwardsville one goes.
Yeah.
Either it's a bit more, you know, east-northeast or more of that northeast one, which would take it then more into our viewing area.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's what we're now watching, because that tornado warning that's there from Montgomery County, you know, that's now Pana. You know, you're in line. The next warning that would come would be Pana, would be Shelbyville, you know, depending upon, you know, how wide they make it. It could be Assumption or Strasburg, Lakewood. So that's what we've got to carefully monitor here, is because now we're going to be getting into that next kind of wave of counties. Okay, we've got a new tornado warning just getting issued here from McLean County. So that's now Bloomington. Okay, so Bloomington now. Tornado warning there with this cell. Take a look at this. Okay, we've got a new tornado warning here. There's several warnings that are up there, but this new one that just got issued, most likely for this cell that's coming out of portions of Tazewell County there on the west side. We had one on the northern side of town earlier, northern side of the county, I should say. And now we've got this new... And you can see kind of the big picture. Look at that whole line, and just so many different little line segments here that we're having to monitor. But it's going to be this one here. That's what we've got in terms of any rotation in there. So a little bit of rotation starting to show up with this. And this whole line now, you're going to have the possibility of tornadoes to develop. You're going to go from where maybe it's a severe thunderstorm warning to a tornado warning pretty quick. And that has happened here with our storm that's coming into the Bloomington area. Looking at it right there. And so the Bloomington normal area now under a tornado warning. I'm sure the sirens are going off up there right now. We're watching the storms here along I-70. Here's your storms that are into the Mount Auburn area. Severe thunderstorm warned. No tornado warnings on that yet. But that's now coming into Macon County as well. We'll see if they extend any warnings for that as that comes into Macon County here. But you've got just a huge line and all of those boxes with all of those warnings here tonight, Jack.
That's correct. Just wanted to, you know, Kevin just showed you the wider view within kind of the northern part up by Bloomington and McLean counties with those tornado warnings there. But here is our whole viewing area view, just to give you an idea about where things are in case you've not heard your county or your city just yet. We have our confirmed tornado reports down in our southern part of our viewing area. We have in the middle there, we have our severe thunderstorm warnings and then tornado warnings on the northern part there. So we've got a fairly consistent line, almost completely covered with warnings, moving off to our east-northeast directions. And these are moving relatively quickly. Some spots between about 30 miles an hour, other times, especially down here to the south, more in the line of around 50 to 55 miles an hour as they move off to the east-northeast. So it is almost a completely covered line of warnings with these storms. And so if we just kind of watch how these play with things here, as you get closer to I-57, we will likely anticipate there still being warnings left with these storms as these come on through. But we're still going to keep an eye on things here. We're going to put more tracks on these. But like Kevin said, we're kind of approaching, right now it is currently 8:53. We're going to be approaching a lot of the expiration dates here in a few minutes of some of these warnings, and that will give us our next wave of warnings that'll be even farther off to our east.
All right, Jack, that's right. There's just so many warnings here, top to bottom, from Bloomington all the way down to east of St. Louis. There's at least a severe thunderstorm warning or tornado warning pretty much the entire way here. Okay, so here we are. We're about 6 minutes from the top of the hour, and we're going to be continuing our coverage here as long as these tornado warnings are still in effect. And, you know, we want to see what happens here with this next little wave. The Storm Prediction Center is still saying, hey, the potential is still there for tornadoes to develop. Big concern here is going to be with our storms coming into the Bloomington area here. We're even going to watch our storms here near Hayworth. Okay, and stretching down there into DeWitt County here before too long. And those are going to have some winds associated with them as well. Then we look down the line. There's Macon County. Nothing there yet, but still, you know, concerned about our storm down here near St. Louis. Come back to that. And there it is, east of St. Louis now, well, northeast of St. Louis. We'll just call it up there into now southern portions of Montgomery County. We need to watch and see where it goes because it's going to eventually go into either Fayette, Christian, or Shelby counties, or potentially all three of them, depending upon exactly where that goes. In this, if this continues on its same path to the north and to the east, you're going to be talking about many areas here that are, once again, going to see that potential for severe weather, potential for tornadic development with any of these storms. We've already had confirmed tornadoes, several of them. The purple box around any of these warnings is an indicator that there is a tornado that is occurring here right now. And so here's Decatur, there's Champaign. As you look kind of down the line, I know many of you are saying, okay, what about, you know, here in my neck of the woods, what are we going to get here before too long? Well, we're watching things carefully here because this whole line as it moves in could intensify here over the next hour or so, and we're in that kind of crucial time frame between now and about midnight where any of these storms may have that larger threat looming with them. As we switch back to our other radar view here, you can see all of the warnings that are in effect. Look at all of these warnings. That very intense cell that's down there south of Hillsboro, tornado warning cell there, kind of, you know, splitting, you know, the edges there of each warning box. But you can just pretty much cover that whole area. But what we have to watch is where's this line eventually going? Where's this little line segment going to head? And if you just kind of plotted it out here to the north and east, here you are through portions of Shelby County. All right, there's Shelby County. There's Tower Hill.
New warning just got put out for that storm that you're on right now. It should be popping up there any second.
Okay.
So, yep, there it goes until 9:45.
Okay, so that's a new, yeah, so they basically, okay, they kind of covered the area that we were just talking about that wasn't covered, which makes sense because it was kind of splitting those two warnings. And so now this new red box that you see there is the new warning. So you've got the red and the purple there, and it's kind of confusing. Ignore those colors for now. Just know that if you're anywhere in that red or purple box, you've got that tornado warning that is in effect. But you're talking Ramsey, and then you're talking Shelby County there and Christian County, right? Where basically all those counties come together. There's almost four corners of counties between Christian and Shelby, and portions of Fayette County down there as well. Where all those counties come together is essentially where there is definite rotation. I'm still seeing, I mean, there's some really intense. I'm going to switch over here to the velocity on this, and you're going to see, I mean, there it is right there.
And in the we got a new mesoscale discussion, which is what we use back here to kind of look at what the National Weather Service and the Storm Prediction Center is thinking. They'll kind of send out their little text, and they said at the southern end of the line, more dominant supercell structures have produced multiple TDSs, so those tornado debris signatures, and are progressing across an unimpeded low-level air mass characterized by mid-60s dew points. The impressive low-level shear, adequate moisture, and open warm sector may support a locally higher tornado threat with these storms, and a strong tornado is possible, which would make sense because we've got, you know, it's even a little warmer down there. It's even a little bit more humid down there, and there has been a little bit more in the way of some clearer conditions down there.
Yeah, Jack, I was just looking at that too. That has me a little concerned as these storms kind of move in. I'm going to circle basically the Storm Prediction Center that Jack was just kind of referring to, and in their graphic, and I tell you what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to pull up that graphic there, and just bear with me here for a second because I want to actually show what you were talking about, because the graphic that they have also talks about a specific area potentially of what is known as a locally higher tornado threat that could occur. And they outline this in their Storm Prediction Center mesoscale discussion, and I have that now pulled up. And now take a look at it.
Yeah,
and to point this out for you, right here's Christian County, Okay, so it's got circled Shelby, portions of Coles, Clark, Effingham counties. They're saying a locally higher tornado threat that could develop. Now, see, this is the whole watch where that red box kind of is, but they've circled an area here of that higher tornado threat, which matches up exactly with where we've got that potential for tornadoes with the storm that is currently there right now. I know we're getting ready to come up to our newscast here at 9 o'clock on WCIX. I take it we're just going to kind of flow into that here. But I'll pause briefly there and we'll get in. Are we already on WCIX? Can we confirm that? We're already on? Okay. Okay, just want to make sure there. So we're just going to continue on. We would normally obviously be starting a newscast here at the top of the hour. We're sticking with the weather coverage here. We've got a new severe thunderstorm warning that just got issued. So this now includes Macon County, DeWitt County. This just coming out here for between Clinton all the way down to Decatur. A new severe thunderstorm warning. Not a tornado warning, but a severe thunderstorm warning in effect there. And then we've got, again, the big storm. The area of concern is the one down here that is going to be eventually heading into portions of Shelby and Christian County here. Confirmed tornadoes all night long with that cell that is right there. And Jack, the tornado threat is up there, and it's right where we thought the whole time things could get pretty dicey here, and it's where we've kind of drew that map with that enhanced area of severe weather, and that's still possible over the next few hours.
That's correct, Kevin. Yeah, we've been kind of looking at the potential for the highest tornado risk to be kind of along and south of I-72, and that's basically where things have really lined up here. Even though we have had some tornado warnings in the north, which, you know, in that yellow area would be in your 4 to 5 range there in terms of a risk. That's still very good, but we're looking down here more of that 6 range there on a scale of 1 to 10. So we're looking at still a pretty significant threat for tornadoes. And this is from the Storm Prediction Center's forecast. They look at a tornado threat, they look at wind threat, and they look at a hail threat. Hail threat has been very, very low across the board with today's outlook. Wind has been up there, but tornadoes have really been our area of concern that we're looking out for. So this matches up where we have seen some of those stronger tornado reports coming out of the St. Louis area, because they're also in the same region too. But yeah, with that then that graphic that Kevin just showed a moment ago, where there was that hatched area, this area right here in this 6 zone, kind of right where the 6 is maybe even would be maybe like a 7 on our risk there. So again, we are watching that very closely, because that storm that is producing that confirmed tornado as of right now has been on the ground now for quite a while, with multiple warnings with that cell as it's come on through, and it really doesn't have much sign of slowing down here very much, Kevin.
It doesn't. And it is still really, really strong. Take a look. I'm going to switch over to our velocity mode here on our storm and widen it out to get your kind of bearings here. We're in the velocity. Look at this strong rotation. Okay, that's going to be east of the Panama area, and I'm concerned about this one as it moves off here to the north and east. If this thing kind of stays on its same path, that's something that you know, is going to be a really big issue here. And I'm going to go ahead and put that back there, because it's right there, hanging right along the county line there of Montgomery and Bond County. Going to be heading into Fayette County up through Montgomery. But that storm there is definitely packing a punch. It is the strongest one that we've got. It's the one that's got all of the tornado warnings with it. But let's not make light of what's coming into Decatur and Clinton, Maroa, right now, Wapella. The Downs area, seeing some really strong storms there as well. Those are all severe thunderstorm warned cells, not tornado warned. The exception is going to be, actually, did they just drop? I think they just dropped the warning. They had a warning in effect for McLean County, a tornado warning, and that's no longer in effect. So the only tornado warning that we've got is going to be for our cells down here in Montgomery and Bond County tonight, and into Fayette County there as well. But we've got to watch this line here very carefully as this moves to the north and east. But I'm going to tell you, the cell to watch, it's going to be the one to watch this whole time, is going to be this one. Mark my word, this is the one that eventually could come into Effingham, Shelby, maybe Cumberland, Coles County over the next hour or so. So definitely be watching things here if you are far down the line with that. And what I want to do is we'll put a path on that storm and kind of show you where it potentially could go and at what time it would potentially be there as well. We're going to bring this off here to the east, and we're going to say at about 60 miles an hour. So you can kind of see the Ramsey area there at 914, Altamont there at 939, Stewartson 941, Effingham 949 to Topless 953, possibly into Cumberland County and Toledo at 10 o'clock. So all the way into Cumberland County here in an hour, that same storm that has been showing signs of rotation has had confirmed tornadoes with it, and is an area that the Storm Prediction Center has highlighted, indicated, hey, these storms are going to stay strong. They're going to stay at their intensity and possibly even get even stronger, and there should be a high concern if you're down in this area. That's something we definitely need to be paying very close attention to here, Jack, because these storms are going to be moving into that area that is still primed for tornadic development. We've already got it with these cells that have come out of St. Louis. So we're going to watch that area. You can almost just kind of tell from the radar. You know, it's a little bit more intense down there than it is with our storms that are down here in Decatur. But nevertheless, to not let our guard down, because that storm is really the one to watch. And all of these at any point could produce some severe weather.
And that's the thing with these lines of storms, is that even if they're not exactly a straight line, they have sometimes little indents, some of those notches. That's going to be enough to maybe produce a brief little spin-up tornado too. But just wanted to bring up the velocity again for our storm that is down to the south, the one that we're watching for in Fayette and Montgomery counties. We always look for the inbound and the outbound winds, the reds and the yellow, or the reds and the greens. And you'll notice that we have them in the couplet, so that's going to be when they're very close to each other like that, touching. That means that the radar is picking up on the spin that it has. Also, some of the brighter colors too indicate that we have some strong winds with that even in of itself. So we've got that. I just checked on our correlation coefficient, our debris tracker. I haven't seen anything with that one just yet, but we'll keep an eye on that one, because this one does have some very good rotation with it, and that signature does look impressive, and that's going to be the one to watch, just because of the fact that it's got really nothing to slow it down. It's in a very warm, very humid environment. It does not have much in the way of any storms ahead of it either, so we're going to be looking out for that one to be the one to keep an eye out for. And I don't know, I saw a flash. There's probably a flash from the Decatur. From here too. We actually have some thunder here at the station, but I just saw a flash of lightning from our Decatur camera in the corner of my eye. But lots of lightning with those storms, especially going into the Decatur area right now.
Yeah, there is actually. So there is the Decatur camera, as you can see there, and we'll probably pan that around here a little bit. Let's switch to the radar here real quick while I reposition the camera. Look at all of the lightning strikes there. So if you were near Harristown, if you're in Decatur right now, you're seeing that lightning off to your west. If you're in Forsyth, you're definitely seeing that lightning there off to your west as well. And those lightning strikes are really starting to pile up there. And the reason that we can use that as a tool for us is because it oftentimes can be an indicator of if a storm is strengthening or not, kind of how mature that a storm is. And we are definitely seeing that with our Storm Tracker Doppler that's showing the lightning there. We're going to start to get some of that heavier rain push into Decatur here before too long here as well. You can see some of those lightning strikes, that camera there on the left.
And I do want to say that we've now have that back as a confirmed tornado warning for
Montgomery and
Montgomery and Fayette counties.
Yep.
So right over the Coffeen area, moving northeast at 60 miles an hour. So that is now back to being confirmed after what was radar indicated for a time there.
All right, Jacob Dickey is in Decatur right now, and he is in the storm tracker with us, and he has been watching the storms kind of come in. He's been driving all around there, and he's in there. I bet you're seeing quite a bit of lightning, Jacob.
Yeah, you're right about that, Kevin. The lightning has been fairly impressive here. We're on the southeast side of Decatur in Mount Zion. I will turn the screen forward, and you can see some of that lightning crashing here every now and then. We're trying to stay ahead of it, and we've been watching the same thing. There's a lot of rain up here in these storms to the north, so we're heading to the south. I'll be about 25 minutes away from Sullivan. We're going to try and make our way to Mattoon, Charleston, and catch that one supercell thunderstorm out. The rain has been pretty impressive. It's coming down at a moderate pace, and that's leaving some ponding of water on the roadways, so that's important to note. We're going to be safe and take our time getting there. We're going to try and get some reports too and keep you updated in the field here from the Decatur area. So I'm about 5 miles from Dalton City, only 34 miles from Mattoon, Charleston. And that's going to get us then to the south on 57 to see what we can find to wrap the east. So wanted to have that update for you here. They do have that severe thunderstorm warning for this storm. But it seems like the storm of the day, as you've been mentioning, is going to be further to the south, and that's where we're heading. We kind of hesitated because we were watching that storm as well come out of Edwardsville in St. Louis Metro. And so that's been the decision we've made, is to move to the south and east towards Moultrie, Coles, Cumberland County. Live exiting Mount Zion, I'm meteorologist Jacob Dickey. We'll send it back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Jacob. So he, again, is there southeast of Decatur. So here's Mount Zion. And so he's going to try to probably make his way, down through Sullivan and probably head down towards Mattoon into the Coles County area. And then what he's probably setting himself up for is this cell that's back here. Okay, so he's getting in position for what this cell could be, and that lines up kind of with what the Storm Prediction Center was saying was, hey, listen, guys, pay attention to down here into, say, Coles County, into Cumberland County, Shelby County, Effingham County, because this cell here has been the one that has been consistently producing a tornado with it. Still is. Watch this. We'll switch over to the velocity. Look at that. A very intense rotation. That's going to be coming into the Fillmore area here in the next few minutes. See if we got any debris. Possibly a little bit in there. But that storm there is definitely showing rotation. Then you're talking Ramsey. You're talking Hanson. You're talking then getting into portions of Shelby County. We got to watch that carefully. In Shelby, Effingham, Coles, and Cumberland County area down the line. A very serious situation could be developing if this storm, and here's what we look for with whether or not these storms can maintain themselves. And here's what I'll show you is when we look at this on the radar, we don't have anything else down here robbing, stealing away the moisture, stealing away the energy. It's kind of on the southern end. The term we use is the tail end Charlie here on the south side of the line. It's got all the resources that it needs, okay? It's going to pull from that warm, moist air. It's going to pull from that instability that is being created tonight with those winds. And it is going to be unimpeded and allow it to strengthen as it moves off here to the north and east. And that's why it's been able to sustain itself for so long out of Missouri into St. Louis here. And so now we have to watch Effingham, Shelby counties, northern portions there of Montgomery County there, and heading towards Cumberland County. This storm is the one we have to keep an eye on. And they just issued a new warning there, and I believe it has a tornado possible tag. Is that right, Jack?
Yeah, I'm going to get to that one here in just a moment. What I did want to show you first, though, before we go down to that new warning, is the velocity into Decatur currently. What you're probably going to be noticing is that we have our velocity, which is looping currently, and it's going to be looping over the past 2 hours. And what you'll notice here is, as it comes into the Decatur area, you have a arcing look with that line there, that kind of gray line that separates the greens from the reds. That arcing segment is most likely some very strong winds that are being pushed out of the storm. And so that's why the National Weather Service has now issued that warning. Again, it's been out for a little bit, but what we want to point out is that there's probably a very large rush of air coming out ahead of that storm, and it might actually be right into the Decatur area or just on kind of the western side there. Within the next moment or so, it'll probably be pushing through more of downtown Decatur. So we're looking at some strong winds to be moving through there. With our new severe thunderstorm warning that we got for Christian, Macon, Moultrie, and Shelby counties that goes until 10:15 tonight, it's got winds of 60 miles per hour. But again, the interesting thing about that one is that it has the tornado possible tag with that one. And the reason why is that although this is not exactly as impressive with rotation as what it looks like with the confirmed tornado report, that's the warning just down to the south, we don't have as much of the greens and the reds touching each other. You do, though, have differences in colors there in terms of the greens and some of the lighter greens. And what that will sometimes show is that there could be a brief spin up there. So it's not exactly the best rotation. You've got some of the teal color there showing that we've got some strong winds, with the darker greens showing slightly weaker winds. mainly out of the same direction, but it might be enough to produce a brief spin-up tornado. So this may not look textbook here, but that's the reason why that they have issued a tornado possible tag with this severe thunderstorm warning. Regardless, though, it's going to have some strong winds with it, up to around 60 miles an hour.
All right, Jack, here we have got, again, the storms that we're watching that are of major concern here. We've got the overall big picture there with that huge severe thunderstorm warning. I mean, they threw it out there. It's covering, you know, all of Moultrie, Shelby counties there. And what will happen is then they'll get specific with the tornado warning, with the area of highest concern for a tornado. They'll make these smaller boxes within that severe thunderstorm warning box. I anticipate that probably occurring with this here as this storm continues to show really strong. Actually, I'm starting to get a debris signature, another tornado debris signature showing up with this as well.
And would that be kind of right there at the intersection of Fayette County and Montgomery County?
Yes.
Kind of right there by the hurricane area. That's what pops up on my map.
Just south of Fillmore. Big intense rotation, and then co-located with that is going to be your velocity.
Yep.
So just south there, and we just got the update there. So there's the update. Now north of Bingham. So there's Ramsey. That's in northern portions of Fayette County. Okay, and that's Highway 51. Of course, 51 that comes straight south there out of Decatur, through Assumption and Pana. And then back down here, that's Ramsey. That's right there. That's a debris signature. Clear as day. We have a tornado that is 100% on the ground and doing damage. Just went through Fillmore. That is in eastern portions of Montgomery County and is now crossed into Fayette County. And as we put this kind of a loop on that, and you can see how that thing is going right towards potentially the Ramsey area. Big concern.
And you still have that. Is your debris signature the St. Louis radar?
Oh, that's actually the Lincoln.
I was going to say, because the Lincoln one picks it up, and the St. Louis one would do even a...
Oh, yeah, the St. Louis one definitely.
Yeah.
Huge, even more.
Yeah.
Look at that. Yeah, so
which just goes to show you that this one is the one we got to watch, because if it shows up that well from Lincoln.
Debris. Yeah, that's a ton of debris. And I'm going to do something here. I'm going to do this here real quick and see if we can see anything. We're actually splitting the storm up and looking at the debris. See if we can kind of pick up that debris being lofted and see if we can't see some of that. Let's see here. We're going to try to split that up here a different way. And what it would allow us to see is just, you know, how high some of that debris is being lofted, because that is a pretty good debris signature. There's the new scan that just came across. Let me try to fire that up there.
And that area of debris and rotation is getting pretty close to the end now of the warning polygon. The warning polygon goes until 9:30, but I'd have to imagine that they're probably gonna have to pop one here sooner than later.
Oh, they're gonna pop one for Shelby County here very soon. There's no doubt in my mind that Shelby County, you're going to have a tornado warning. That's probably going to include Herrick, Cowden, Lakewood. If you're in Tower Hill, Shelbyville, Strasburg, Stewartson, all of those areas, you need to I'm just going to tell you right now, you know, start taking shelter there. If you are in southwestern portions of Shelby County, take shelter. They're going to pop a warning on this here at any second because we are still seeing the signs of rotation, intense signs of rotation, and intense signs of a tornado debris signature just west of Ramsey. It's going to cross Highway 51 there. It's going to cross Highway 51 there just northwest of Ramsey if we're lucky, just northwest there. So there it is near Bingham. Switch back over to the Lincoln Weather Service radar because we're kind of starting to split hairs there with LSX. So I'm just going to kind of probably stay with that one because we are seeing the debris signature. We are seeing the so there it is right there. Okay, well, actually they just continued it into northern Fayette. We'll see here. So they're gonna keep this thing probably coming really close to Ramsey and then eventually towards Herrick there. So.
Looks like it may be trying to turn a little bit more to
the right, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
You're right. Possibly turning to the right a little bit.
And if that's the case, that usually is a sign of strengthening when it comes to storm development because turning right helps it to get even more of the proper direction of spin to get it to go stronger.
Yeah, so that is a very dangerous situation right now. Let me just see. I'm going to pull up the two panels here because I need to be able to kind of match them up everything. Because these things are coming in so quick. So we're trying to match up, you know, where we've got some of the rotation, where we've got the debris signature there. But that thing is going to be really close to Ramsey now, where we've got that. And a lot of these storms and these tornadoes potentially are going to be rain wrapped, difficult to see. It's obviously nighttime, very hard to see these in darkness. You got to wait for a lightning flash or a power flash to give you that indication, but you don't need that to take shelter. When there's a tornado warning, your tornado sirens are going off, and we're on television and on the web and internet and social media telling you about this, it's the real deal here. These are confirmed tornadoes, confirmed by radar here for sure. And if anybody's out there, I guarantee you we're probably getting some damage, because we wouldn't have this signature. This blue color would not show up if there was not debris being lofted into the air by a tornado. That's just how the radar works.
And what's interesting, though, is that behind me, we've got a kind of wider view of the debris tracker. And what we have is, there it is down there, and I've zoomed it out there just to kind of show you that there's also what we call a fallout in terms of the radar image. So I have the St. Louis one shown there just as an example, because it's still, right now, like Kevin was saying, we're kind of splitting hairs between which radar to use right now. It's eventually going to be the Lincoln one that we'll use. But out of St. Louis, the radar beam hits the debris in the sky, and then it causes it to essentially die down. There's that line right there. So that just shows you that we have it drop down after the radar comes and hits some of that debris. Kevin, you got anything new?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jacob, we were pointing him to where to go, and I think he's and if he's listening there, if we haven't passed it along, Strasburg, the Stewartson area, we're going to probably start to send him down there, because that storm, okay, that is here, Ramsey, this thing is going to, you know, depending upon if it takes the right turn or not, eventually come into maybe southeastern portions of Shelby County. And so I think we're going to have Jacob kind of make a turn if he was in Sullivan, possibly head south there on that 32. I don't know if he's passed that already or not, but he can make his way down there, because this storm, this has had consistent, strong rotation with it. And now I'm concerned because this storm is coming over is coming over the Ramsey area now, and that could be a real bad deal there. And unfortunately, more debris and more of an issue. But Herrick, I'm just saying, Herrick, Cowden, and Beecher City, just be on the lookout with this storm, because it is moving off here to the northeast at, let's see the latest movement on this. 55 miles an hour. I'm going to switch over to my other radar so we can track this thing out a little bit. Let's take you back down here. Again, the tornado, that whole orange boxed area. And here's the other thing, Jack. We're starting to see a little bit more like separation of you know, we've got, you know, we have to start to watch this guy here from Assumption to Moequa, okay, as that moves off there to the east, because it's kind of splitting a little bit off. And you've got this guy, the one that's really been bringing very intense reflectivity back to us here, the tornado with it. And watch this. When we switch over to velocity, there it is again, right there along Highway 51 that comes right out of, you know, straight from Decatur and out of Pana. And there it is, and eventually going to be coming into southern portions of Shelby County. If you're in Herrick, if you're in Cowden, you don't have a warning right now, but you need to be taking shelter here. If you're in extreme northern portions of Fayette County, Ramsey, along Highway 51, there between Herrick and Ramsey, take shelter right now. This is absolutely a confirmed tornado that we've got. The correlation coefficient kind of matches up with that as well.
Shelby County got our warning.
Finally, there we go.
Okay.
So there's your tornado warning. We said all along that this is most likely going to happen.
It still says observed with it.
Yeah, it is. So that's a confirmed, okay, and that would be indicative, obviously, of the debris signature that continues to show up. So southern portions of Shelby County right now, I already mentioned all of those towns to take shelter. And those were Herrick and Cowden, and Clarksburg, Stewartson, Holland, Holiday areas. Because right now, this storm has rotation on it, very intense, evident rotation. Then it has that debris signature that's also associated with the storm. All indicators that we have a tornado on the ground. Jack?
Yep, and I just want to put a track on it to get some of the spots that might be a little bit farther away from the actual center of circulation, because this thing is moving fast at 60 miles per hour. So even though you may not live exactly all that close to the Ramsey and the Herrick area, maybe you're 15 miles away, it's moving very fast. So here we go, 9:31 for the Herrick area, 9:38 for Cowden, Stewartson at 9:49, Strasburg at 9:52, Windsor 9:56. We're going to be getting pretty close to Neoga at 10 o'clock if it keeps on going in this direction. Mattoon 10:08. We've got Greenup 10:13, Charleston 10:17, and Casey at 10:23. Again, that's if the storm keeps on moving to the northeast like it is at 60 miles per hour. But again, if you're in the Ramsey area and the Herrick area, that's an immediate concern right now because that is spinning right over the Ramsey area right now. But again, if you live within the warning area, want to make sure that you are in your safe spot. And even if you live within the or close by the spots that I just called off too, essentially going from the Herrick area at 9:31 within the next few minutes to Casey at 10:23, just be on the lookout because this thing is moving fast, and so we're likely going to have more warnings go along with that as this storm continues to move off to the northeast, should it continue to hold on. But like Kevin had showed, we don't have anything to the south of here, so there's nothing that's going to slow this storm down. There's nothing that's going to really cause it to weaken. It may cycle a couple times, but there's really it's got great ingredients to work with, Kevin.
Jack, I'm really concerned about the Herrick area here. Yeah. I'm really concerned. The rotation there is right there between Ramsey and Herrick. It just crossed 51. And so I'm going to zoom right down in on that, okay? And you can see, so there's Herrick. The rotation is going to be just to your south and west, okay? Just to your south and west. That if you are in Herrick right now, take shelter. This is the real deal. There is a tornado. It is currently lofting debris. We have very, very strong indicators that there is a potential strong tornado wrapped in rain right now just southwest of Herrick. It's going to be right on the Fayette and the Shelby County line. This right here is the highest concern that we have had here all night. This storm, I'm getting concerned as this heads into that area right now. We're going to see if we get a drop in that correlation coefficient again, which would be indicative of possible debris being lofted. That storm right now, I know it's probably storming in Herrick right now. The rain is coming down, but the tornado is still just to your south and west. And by the time we get the next radar scan in there, it might be on top of you. It might be there. Yeah. So you definitely need to be in your tornado safe spot here. So let's throw these up here right now. And Jack, talk about some of these kind of good, better, best kind of scenarios.
Yeah, the worst place to be is in your car, mobile home, under a highway overpass. That's going to accelerate the wind in the overpass. Mobile homes are not, the foundation is, there is no foundation. It is just tied and chained down to the ground. Air can get underneath it and loft it. Large open rooms in manufactured housing, slightly better, but still not exactly a bad spot, or not exactly a good spot to be in. Now, we're looking at the best spot to be your tornado shelter or a safe room. The basement is great too. Interior rooms, bathrooms and bathtubs are great spots to be in too, but by far the worst place to be in is a car or a mobile home, and that is definitely not a spot that you want to be in. Again, now we got a new scan with our velocity, and so we're going to show that here, and it is now basically just off to the west of the Herrick area right now. So we have seen this now scan. We get a scan every couple minutes. This is now moving very fast off to our northeast at 60 miles per hour. So if you live in the Herrick area, you need to be in your safe spot right now because this is got a very, very strong rotation signature with it. That velocity is, that couplet there is very concerning to look at. And so this is definitely going to be a one to watch. And with the new velocity scan that we just got, Kevin, we may have maybe a new correlation coefficient scan that just came in?
Yep, we do, and it's not good. I'm going to go ahead and switch back over here. We have got confirmed tornado And this is not what I like to see. And it is this blue color here. And I'm going to point it out. So we're going to take it full here. There it is. We have debris that is currently being lofted into the air right now from a tornado. Just to the west of Herrick, there is a tornado right now, and it is doing damage. Right there it is, okay? This is the highest level of concern that we have. This is the real deal. This is not just radar indicated, okay? We have got something right here that's currently doing damage on the Fayette Shelby County line right near the Herrick area. We need you to take shelter. Those places that Jack was just talking about. And let's kind of look down the line here, because here's Lake